of the single mother raised kid. That's basketball player kissing his mother. I have a mother. I don't kiss her like that. But the son husband is a direct effect of the removal of the masculine man who she could not maintain or chose to turn over his authority to sell you out for nickels and dimes. That community, in particularly 70% or better, he basically is going to assume the duties of the father who was removed or poorly selected by her. And he's going to give her all of that masculine energy up until a point. I won't say what else is going on. What she's going to do, she's going to keep him close as she would a husband. She's going to guilt him into supporting her because she highly likely is never going to get married ever again. But she's going to guilt him into being that lifelong support as a husband would be. She's basically going to sabotage any connections that man will have at selecting his mate because she knows that is her means of support going forward. Son husband.
2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2. Oh my goodness. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. What we was talking about is the husband, son, the product of the single mother. We didn't have any sound, so we're gonna run this video back right quick so people can get an understanding. Sorry about that.
The single mother raised kids. That's But the son husband is a direct effect of the removal of the masculine man who she could not maintain or chose to turn over his authority to sell you out for nickels and dimes. That community in particular is 70% or better. He basically is going to assume the duties of the father. Removed or poorly selected by her. And he's going to give her all of that masculine energy up until a point. I won't say what else is going on. What she's going to do, she's going to keep him close as she would a husband. She's going to guilt him into supporting her because she highly likely is never going to get married ever again. But she's going to guilt him into being that lifelong support as a husband would be. She's basically going to sabotage any connections that man will have at selecting his mate because she knows that is her means of support going forward. Son husbands, products of the single mother raised kid. That's basketball player kissing his mother. I have a mother. I don't kiss her like that. But the son husband is a direct effect of the removal of the masculine man who she could not maintain or chose to turn.
So like the brother brought out, it's a direct effect of losing the masculine man. Losing the masculine man. So like we brought out the Willie Lynch, they made slaves and they made Negroes, or what they called niggers. So we the product of what they put us through. So we got to have an understanding. That's how you really love your people. You have an understanding for them. If somebody on drugs, just because they're on drugs, that means you don't have no understanding on how they got on them drugs. Because black people didn't bring cocaine over here.
That's right.
Somebody else brought it over here and dropped it in our communities. You know what I'm saying? So we always want to get mad and take it out on each other when somebody else is the one put us through it. But where we are responsible for is not loving one another. That's how we get out of hand. We don't sit up there and let them win with what they did by us not loving one another. That's why Christ said, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. As we do that, then we break all the curses that they put on us. So when we break the laws, statutes, commandments, then we allow those curses to continue. So start at the top again, the breaking process of the what they call African woman.
This is the book, The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. And we're starting on page 17. The breaking process of the African woman.
The Israelite woman.
The Israelite woman, Khan. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desire willingly. Test her in every way because she is the most important factor of good economics.
She's what?
Factor of good economics.
Like this, they say she's the most important factor of good economics. And if you couldn't hear us before, we was bringing out the NFL players, the basketball players, who they always bring up there when they get drafted. The mother. They always celebrate the mother because why? She helped them make good economics. She helped them, she put them in Pee-wee football for them, put them in junior high football, trained up a little warrior for sports though, but not raising a warrior for their nation. See, it's all about for her economics at this point, because she had to be independent. She had to raise them on his own. And what do the son always say? I got to buy my mama a house. You know what I'm saying? So he feel like he owe her. So I got to buy my mama a house. But what do a son supposed to be doing? He's supposed to be leaving mother and father and cleaving on to who?
His wife.
But he cleaves on to his mother. Read on.
And you know, also too, Dick, sometimes too, the father can still even be in the household.
Yes.
And they still bring up the mother.
Yep.
Like the father has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
And he's really the most important part of it.
And then look, even when the father is present, like Richard, Serena Williams' daddy,
yeah.
Richard Williams, or even Joe Jackson. They give Joe Jackson such a bad name, but all of them are sitting up here rich right now. Even kids that ain't even Michaels sitting up here rich.
Yeah.
But Joe Jackson is so horrible. Well, if it wasn't for Joe Jackson, none of y'all would be living in this plush lifestyle that y'all live. But what they do, they villainize Joe Jackson. Well, he must have been whooped their butt enough because all of them soft. Michael was the hardest one. And then you got Serena Williams' daddy. They villainized Richard. But Richard made sure, look at him. They rich right now. He wouldn't let them white folks run over them and use them how they wanted to use them. Because he was a strong man.
A strong Israelite man.
That's right.
They also got him out the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By knocking him off.
Yes.
Everybody know their system. Everybody know how they get down. You know what I'm saying? If they got a stumbling block in their way, they're gonna remove that stumbling block. And they got the equipment to do it.
They got another one. Beyonce dad. He got them rich. Not the mama, he got them rich. He put everything up for them to do that. But then what they turn around and do? They villainize him.
Villainize.
I ain't know Ike turn aside like that. But what did Ike do? He was wrong for how he acted. But what he do? And what the white man came and did? Swooped right up under him. He should have treated her better though.
Yeah.
But what he did, they were gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
They do it every single time. Look at Diana Ross. She was with what? Barry Gordon? What the white man do? Swoop. He gonna do it every single time. Because that's in here. It's good economics. We gotta undercut the strong black man. We can't let him win. Read on out.
If she shows any signs of resistance and submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offsprings in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age.
Now tell me this, how come most of all the athletes come out of poverty? My mama had to work 2-3 jobs. We lived in the projects. They did it on purpose. You're gonna be crabs in the bucket. And the one that's the fastest and the strongest can rise out of that quicker than everybody else. We ain't worried about the smartest.
Right.
Because how come most of these athletes, they don't be smart? It's like the athleticism comes before books. That's why all of them be struggling to make a 70 so they can play in the game. Because their smartness isn't the most important thing for these people. The coaches in on it, the teachers in on it, the principals in on it, the district in on it. Then if they make it to college, they in on it too. They have a little white boy writing their paper. How come? That's because they didn't want these brothers going to HBCUs. Just imagine all these black athletes went to black colleges. They'll be killing these white schools like Texas A&M, Texas University, Michigan, Alabama. So what they do, they start paying the parents.
Right, and same way they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Booker T. Washington, Central High School, these schools was dominating schools. In McLean High School, they was dominating the schools. Could none of the white schools win. What they do, they come in, bring in what you call it?
Recruiters. Schools.
Yeah, putting the schools together. And then they weaken Booker T. They weaken all these schools, you know what I'm saying? Oklahoma City, same way, Oklahoma City Douglas. They weaken these schools so that Union, all white school, or Jinx, all them schools would start winning all the championships. And Booker T and them wouldn't win no more championships. They even got to the point where they wanted to call it Tulsa Washington High School. And that's the only thing they was able to stand on. All the rest of the schools, they turned to Tulsa Central, Tulsa this. But Booker T was the only ones that they did stand up, and I can give brothers credit and fought to keep Booker T. Washington's name on the school.
Because if the father at home and the father's going to work in the neighborhood like it was back in the 60s and the 50s, we can stay right here together. We don't need to ship a son all the way across town to play for a better school, because our schools will be better amongst us. But we take the father out the home, we bring in extreme poverty, and then they start making up all kind of reasons why they can bring this black athlete over here to this private school, this black athlete to this Catholic school, because they're weak in family structure. Read on.
Page 18. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into these areas.
Hold on, what they say was the best thing?
Understanding.
What did the Lord say? With all that getting
an understanding.
So even they know understanding is the best thing. Read on.
Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced. What we have produced.
Come on.
Here in this breaking of the female nigger, we have reversed the relationship. In her natural, uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male.
Oh, right there. They said in her uncivilized state. See, they are the uncivilized people. They're trying to call us uncivilized. In her natural state, she would have a strong dependency on the black male because of what? Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Because that's what the Lord commanded. But they said in her uncivilized state, which is her natural state as an Israelite woman, that's the natural way things are supposed to be. But what they turn around and do.
And she would have a limited protective dependency towards her independent male offspring, and would raise female offsprings to be dependent like her. Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling on civilized niggers apart. And
what they do, pull them apart. Spiritually and physically, they put us apart. Now I'm going to read this out of John chapter 16 and verse 21. This is Christ himself. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. So, of course, a mother is going to be glad to have been brought a male into the world, because throughout most of history, that's the one thing that a man wanted a woman to do, because that continues your heritage. You know what I'm saying? That's how you keep the bloodline going. You have to have a male to keep that bloodline going. Look at Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. Because it's the houses of the house of the father. So we understand why a mother would have such a great admiration for her son. But that doesn't mean that you go against the scriptures. But that's what they taught us to do with these tactics that they use. Read that.
Apart and bull whipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence, by her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed. Can I say that? I gotta say something right there. I'm gonna read this again. I want y'all to listen to it very closely. Apart and bull whipping the other to the point of death, all in the presence, by her being left alone. See, when he put the wording like her being left alone, like we just left our name. But no, it was designed to kick us out of the home. to break up the home system. Go ahead, D.
Prisons, gangs, drugs, all that was designed to break up the home.
Con. But they made it try to sound like we just up and left. It just wasn't like that. Because if that woman wanted welfare, when the caseworker came, and I know some of the older ones understand what I'm talking about. When the caseworker came in that house and caught that man, they cut you off for a certain length of time. You can't get no commodity, which is food. You can't get no check once a month, okay? Because this is the way we lived off of this stuff back then. And so they would cut you off from being who you really needed to be.
It ain't back then. It's
still even today. It's still today. But they had a caseworker actually coming in your home every month. Every month. All right. Pick up where we left off. The order caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state.
What?
A frozen independent state.
I don't need no man. I raise my kids on my own. Can't nobody be able, it ain't your kids, it's our kids, and you ain't supposed to raise them alone.
That's right.
But what is she in?
A frozen independent state.
A frozen independent state is what they got our sisters in, man. They got them in a frozen independent state because this is the problem. They think they can call on the police. The police will punch a sister dead in their face. A black police will punch a sister in her face. If they getting out of line the way they don't want them to. Quickly. And this is the people you calling on that you think is in between you and the black man that's gonna save you. These same people will punch you in your face and shoot you. They doing it. Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, they don't care.
That other sister at the apartment, she was pregnant, and the police abused her real bad. She was calling the police to stop one of her white neighbors from trying to jump on her.
See, I seen a sister call the police. They got it on video. The dude they ain't got no divide between their yard. She cutting her grass. The Edomite come straight out, start talking noise to her. She said, "Man, leave me alone. I ain't got time for your mess today. Leave me alone." His son come out, you black, this and that. So she get on the phone and call the police. They don't even do nothing. They showing you what they think about you. They put them in a frozen independent state, and then you think they're gonna be your saviors. They don't care about us. We are each other's saviors. Yo, man, we got people out here that pass us up like we ain't nothing.
Right.
But we know in good and dang on well, these Edomites and none of these other nations is gonna do nothing for a black woman, Hispanic woman, or Native American woman, but rape, take, rob, and murder. And somewhere along the line, they got it twisted like this place has changed. They call sisters niggers to their face the same way they call a man a nigger to his face. Yeah. So when in the process of time, because they start dating black women.
And even in that, I was just getting ready to say that. Even in that, you got white guys, and they got a series out on this thing. They got a series out on it. What they do is they show how the white man actually treats her at home, in the street. Oh, he loves me, dummy. Oh, that's his baby. That's his boo boo. But then in the house, nigga, you need to get over here and get started now on my dinner. Don't let me come home. Nigga, my dinner ain't ready. You effing bed wench and all this kind of stuff. But this is what our women have fought for. Why? Because they're in a frozen mental state. And I think it says that later.
I says, this is what they think about this generation. They was already telling the truth. We ain't supposed to make that's what the scripture says. But they really think about it. Because it's going to be, watch what they say. This is Willie Lynch. What this means is put the niggers and the horses in the breeding pot. Mix some asses and some good white blood. And what do you get? You got a multiplicity of colors of ass backwards, unusual niggers running, tied to backwards ass, long-headed views. The one productive of itself and the other sterile. This is what they think about generation. They call them a multiplicity of colors of ass backwards, unusual niggas is what they think about interracial. But they think they're doing something. It's been since the day it's a battle. You gotta do interracial so you can push all your stuff. The mixing of religions and all this and worshiping of multiple gods. You gotta mix. So therefore, you can blend everything together and then you just go by one law. That's the Tower of Babel. That's king and emotions. That's why they do it. Because everybody all mixed up. They ain't mixing. Did Joe Biden don't mix? Donald Trump don't mix. He went and got a Edomite. He gonna get them from Ukraine and Russia. Yeah. He don't even want one of these water down Edomites. He gonna get him pure from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia.
Mountain, Georgia.
Caveman blood. Neanderthal blood. And they over there pushing on this stuff over here. Right along with homosexuality, bestiality, Satanism, paganism, all this what's in the Bible.
You make a precept out. This is the reason why the Most High tell us not to do this. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7:3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them, thy daughters. Thou shalt not give unto her son. He loves me. Thy daughter shalt thou not give to thy son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son, for they will turn away. They will turn away thy son from following me.
We come and tell the brother Christ is a so-called black man. The Bible speaks of you is like, nah, brother, I'm a Christian. And he walking with his white girl, Christian. He got the T around his neck for tattoos. He gone. You can't tell him like this is where niggas start saying, oh, Christ is all cuts. Because you trying to say this moment, they don't care about you. They trying to preserve their grace. You know what I'm saying? They can't ready to produce. These the people have to come up with vitro and fertilization and test tube babies to try to keep their race going. Everybody else just doing what God told them to do, being fruitful and multiply. They doing everything to try to stop us from being fruitful and multiply. Why they are not being fruitful.
Right.
This is who they gonna listen to.
That they may serve other Willie Lynches. And believe me, I'm not adding to the word. This is true. It's little g. Serve other gods because that's who they gods are. Okay? So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. And I seen, we was over there that day over in Fort Worth, remember? And two guys came up where there was three that actually gave testimony. All three of them gave testimony of how every time when they started messing with the white women, one of them lost his mind. The other one said all kind of bad things started happening in his life. And the other one said the same thing, okay? And this is what ends up happening because the Most High don't want you with them. Because it's easy for a brother to follow the ways of a white woman a lot easier than for a black woman to follow a white man. But they both gonna follow. You know what I'm saying? But that black man, oh man, I got to go with her. You know what I'm saying? And all that bull crap. So, you know.
Give me John 6:38 right there.
John 6:38.
Because even in the scriptures, Christ loved his mother. He did.
Yeah, he did.
And he told her before he left. You know what I'm saying? But if she was out of line, he wasn't dealing with her like that. That's why he say, my mother and my father is the one that do the will of the Father. The will of the who? The will of the Father. See, these other people, these Christians worshiping Mary, the mother of God. That's what they've been worshiping, Osiris. That's why they say, oh, mother of God, mother of heaven. They telling you who they worship. We got a Father. We worship the Father. And we came to do the will of the who?
The Father.
Because the will of the mother over there is homosexuality and paganism. and pedophilia out of the Catholic Church. That's who they worship, the mother of heaven. Read on.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 6 and verse 36. But 38, right? Shalaki, 38. For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me.
Who will he came to do?
The will of him that sent
He
me.
came to do the will of him that sent me. Read on.
And this is the Father's will, which had sent me, that of all which he had given me, I should lose nothing, but should raise it up against at the last days. I read that wrong. But shall rise it up again at the last days. And this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life. And I will raise him up at the last days.
So Christ came to do the will of the Father. We come to do the will of the Father. A boy should be doing the will of his father. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be down here doing the will of our mother. We should be doing the will of our Father. That's who we supposed to be an image of. You know what I'm saying? We ain't that. We supposed to be servants of the Most High God, and we are the warriors and protectors of our nation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go through another video. This video from back, where was it at? It wasn't Ferguson. Was it Ferguson? Where that mama ran out. It was Baltimore. Where that mama ran out and smacked her son around in front of everybody when he was out here trying to protest. This brother out here, 16 years old, he trying to protest for his people. His mama came out and smacked him around.
Mm.
Why? Read this first. Read that right there.
The bottom part.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Still on the page.
No.
Go back up here where we stopped. Yeah. Okay.
It's all right there.
Okay.
It is.
Moved from her psychological independence state of a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring to reverse roles. Yeah, reverse roles. For fear of the young male, for the fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. That's the reason why all the football players is strong, but they, hey. Man,
this is heavy.
Come on, man.
This is why all these ones be out here, they play football, but they don't barely want to say nothing about the state of our people. Michael Jordan ain't gonna say nothing.
Nothing.
You ain't finna get him to say nothing.
He said, he will say he hate a nigga. He will say that.
He just a chocolate covered KKK. Because he went and married that white woman. I give it to LeBron, he'll say something. They come for him. They shut it man drunk. Hey!
What he say? Y'all better come on, get this Jewish money. but hey, I didn't like LeBron James. When he made that statement, that brother won something up in there. I'm sorry, he's the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life.
Get some of this Jewish money.
Yeah, he made that statement because it was true.
Read that part again. Man.
Okay.
Because this is what this video finna show right here. This is why we ain't got no warriors. This is why we ain't got no whole lot of leaders. And then the ones who do try to raise up, like the brothers that was in the Black Panthers or even the new Black Panthers, they said that brother pointed his gun at an agent. They went to lock him up. What's his name is? The one that's over the new Black Panthers.
I don't know. No, I thought they was gone.
No, they ain't gone.
I thought they was gone. Serious. I thought they was gone. I thought Black Panthers was history.
He's still here.
Yeah, I thought them brothers that that's who they was calling the Black Panthers. what that group called? The brothers that got picked up arms?
Not effing around.
Yeah, them. That's what I thought the new Black Panthers was.
Not effing around.
They at least pretty strong.
The Not Effing Around Coalition. That's their name.
Yeah, that's it.
Grandmaster Jake. Yeah, they put federal charges on him because they said he pointed his weapon at one of their agents. So they put him up. They put a charge on him. But that's why you gotta be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, man. That didn't work the last time we tried to do it like that. You can't beat Esau. This man will not even change his own gun laws when his people is shooting up his own people. So you think they gonna do something? They killing their own kids and don't care. Read that part again up.
For fear of the young male's life, she will physiologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong.
So what it be when a mama sent up here, you in the grocery store, she got two little boys, she call them B's and H's. He look big. He been at the little B. Just disrespecting God and the name bad. Because they stress. Because they got a curse on them and they ain't never hit right. They take it out on the kid. And they start calling them out their name. He messing them up in the head. But then you're going to be in fear for his life. But then he out here selling dope. Yeah, he gang bang. But look, when they go to do something right though, I ain't seen grown men stand up to the police and they gonna be like, no, this guy ain't like that. Hell no. I'm sick of this. I got the right to bear arms. And he ready to do whatever he wants. He ain't trying to go to pistol on the cop. But he ain't finna let him disrespect him on the black. Brothers, timeless. That's the warrior spirit coming out. And when that happens, those mothers, the wives, those daughters, they start getting scared and fear of the light. We gonna die anyway. We gonna die. That's right. So I'm gonna go out swinging, then a die being a cow. You got brothers killing each other for nothing. For nothing. And you got brothers out here trying to stand up for their people. That's the warriors. That's the front line of our people, not the ones selling them out. So watch this. This right here, this was pitiful.
Disciplining her son. Now, how many parents can relate to that? I mean, it may not be in the middle of a riot, but if you got an older son. Listen, she was captured on video disciplining her son. Now, how many parents can relate to that? I mean, it may not be in the middle of a riot, but if you got an older son or daughter, you may be able to.
When I taught out of this, when I talked out of this book, and when I did the class out there, when we was out there at the barber shop, one of the things that I found out in taking the Bible and going to the Bible with this book, precepting with this book, is you find out that they actually took our women and made them weapons against us. You know what I'm saying? And you know, sometimes people that's close to you, they think, well, why are you saying what you're saying? But it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? You just do what was just said. They took the women to make the commodity out of it.
But I think one of the things that I encourage them is that a lot of the.
You know what I'm saying? And train your children up to do what they do. You become a weapon to your own husband, to your own Israelite man. But I do give all praises for the Most High raising up Israelite women now to be strong for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And doing their part for the Lord.
I'm not going to play the song. So you can look at it on the phone, they hate now. It just show how How she just beat him up. You made me police brutality in front of everybody. She came out to the protest. Sure enough, she told him not to go. But you know, he coming out because he cared about his people. He coming out because he tired of this stuff in just a little bit of time that he been in here. He's sick of how they treating our people. What the mother do? Exactly what the Willie Lynch said she would do. She had fear of his life. Would you rather him be out here protesting for his people or to be gangbanging against his brothers? It's like make a decision.
Yeah.
But that's when that is.
But then she's got all that Edomite her swinging and banging side to side. You think she got fringes in her ear. You know what I'm saying? But she loved him. He saw it that magnitude. She loved him at that magnitude.
But they were raising him to be soft, be feminine, because of this stuff right here. He trying to be a man. He trying to stand up for his people. See, that's what we lost when we lost our heritage. We lost our structure. So our women don't respect the leadership of a man anymore, for the most part in our nation. They don't respect when a man, a real man stands up, a man of the Lord stands up and be a leader, because they've been frozen in the state of independence. So when their sons trying to break that curse, when they try to stand up and be men, they don't want to be this, unless they finna go to the NBA,
Right.
unless they finna go to the NFL.
But it's still the same principle, just principle with a little money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the nigga part gonna break this thing down to show that it's to train the mother, to train the daughter, to train that daughter, to train that daughter to do all the same thing to their sons.
And that's why we making it known. We know sisters are here, but the other sisters don't even know what kind of psychological hold that this place got on them. They think it's the place of man and woman. I can be who I want to be. This is the place. This is hell that we in. This is captivity. I said it. Read that out.
This is at the raw page of 18 of the Willie Lynch book. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offsprings to be psychological independent as well. That have what have you got? You got the nigger woman out front and the nigger man behind and scared.
And what is Jeremiah 31:22 saying? It's a new thing.
Oh yeah.
Give me up, verse 10. It's Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. How long would I go about backslide? No, but the Lord has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass man. This is how you go about accomplishing those feats. This is exactly how you go about doing it. They want to put the woman up front and the man behind. You know what I'm saying? Read that.
It's 31.
Yeah, it's on 10 and 1. And this, did you finish reading that?
Oh. Right here.
Yeah.
This is a perfect situation for sound sleep.
What?
For sound sleep.
We don't have to worry about the niggas raising up, trying to come against us. They got to get sound sleep. See, you got a black man in there with that same warrior spirit on him. They couldn't sleep because they know this nigga might do something. Even this sister might do something. If we even catch, they still got that Israelite in them. They might do something to us. But we done trained them to be how we want to be. Then we can have sound sleep.
Sound and economic.
And not read small.
All right. Before the breaking process, we had to be alert and on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly, for out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us. Now we know that mercy. They guard for us, so they can get good sleep. Well, I got to go with the Romans 13 and 11. It's time to get them out of their guardianship. We got to stop protecting these other cubs. He cannot get past her early infant slave molding process. He is a good to now ready to be tied to the horse at the tender age.
So Nathan is breaking a woman. They can get sound sleep. You know, she'll tell us,
Yeah.
911. 911. It's crazy, man. To see the documentation of how people got the story.
Wait, you know, that's the eyes can't count that good. Just 911. Make it easy for you. Make it easy for you.
Romans 10:1.
Romans 10:1.
No problem. Proverbs 10:1, because everything that they talk about is the woman training the children.
Mhm.
Let's see what happens when that happens.
This is the
Not that she ain't, this we talking about a man. We ain't talking about raising children. No, we talking about raising a man. Read.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
The reason why that why? Because she raised him the wrong way. He's so worried about it, he's gonna become your evidence. But if he's a wise son, it's not gonna be evidence to him. But how do you become a wise son? You gotta be raised up. As you gotta be raised up. Give me Isaiah 3:12.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
That's what we've been reading the whole time. That's what we read. It's Bible. But it's Bible because we break the commandments. We don't want to listen to the Father. So we just looking at Bible talk and then seeing how it came about and we living through the end results of it. Go to verse 1, 3 and 1. Isaiah 3 and 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water.
Everything that we have will be taken away from us. The way we've made our food, the water, our land, everything taken away from us. Read.
Verse 2. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the innocent, the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning, artificer, and I got that word. The eloquent orator, seller, and the cunning artificer. Oh, I'm reading that again. Man, I don't read it again. And I will give children to be their princes, and babies shall rule over them.
I got you, bro.
Babies shall rule over them. No, I was thinking of marketing.
And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the mighty men, the ancient men, the men of wisdom, how do you get rid of all of that? How do all the men of this stature, the mighty men, the man of war, the judge, the prophets, the prudent, the ancients, captain of 50, honorable men, counselors, cunning artificers, eloquent orators, how do all of those men disappear? Just look around. Just look around. war against our God. But our lips mean one. Our mouths can speak up hard, but our hearts are removed from it. We live in it. Everything that is saying, we live in it. Everything that the scriptures is saying, we live in it. That's why I would give children to be their princes and babes and rule over them. That's why your children is little monsters out there. Read on out.
Verse 5, and the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another.
We oppressing each other. Everybody want to bring up the white man. He done his job. Just like when he was breaking us. And you know, once he broke us the way he needed to, he can have sound sleep. Right now, you ain't got to worry about these niggas going to do nothing to white folks. Oh, but they bust each other head to the white people. They hung up on each other with the pencil. Just like with the zero train situation. Brother's supposed to be for the people. He's supposed to be for the rights of his people, standing up for his people. But then you jump on your own brother. That's they don't go together. You're supposed to be for your people, but then you jump on your people. You're supposed to be for your people, and it looked like all these so-called civil rights leaders. Eric Belafonte and Maya Angelou and all these. How could you be for your people if you get married to another race? All this is fake. Everything around us is food hazy, man. 99% of the people who talk is just talking. That's why the Lord said what he said. They mouths, they talk. They lift their own. But they hearts, even for our own people. Oh yeah, I love this brother, man. I love this brother. Well, if you love this brother, you'll be right here with your brother doing what the Lord commanded us to do. If you love your God, if you love your brothers, you'll do what? Because the Lord said, look, serve him. We got to serve him in spirit and in truth. And in spirit and in truth is keeping the law. And one of the laws is having sounding holy. And having a holy convocation. So if you love your people, and if you love your God, you'll be doing it. So when people sit up here playing with us, like we fools, just because they don't say nothing about it, because we ain't wasting the time to waste the time. Just know, you don't love us, and you don't love the Most High. Because what the Lord said, what Christ said, any man who loves mother and father more than me is not worthy of me. So he commanded us to take one day off to serve him, and you got brothers and sisters can't even do it. Give me some rock, 32 and 20.
And what's that other thing too? People don't understand when we say that we like what's the clown name? The president. Trump. Why we like it? Trump. One thing I can say about Trump. Trump is gonna put his hatriotism toward you right out. He's gonna put that right out there to you. He won't shake a nigga hand on TV. I don't care how much he like him. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna shake the hand. But we got brothers sitting up there perpetrating and everything, and like they really got love for the brother, and ain't got no love for him. Because you ain't showing that love. That's, Sorry.
32 and 17.
32 and 17.
I'm going to read this while you get there. Isaiah 29 and 13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of me. And I'm going to say this, we talked about single mothers, but how did we get in this situation? From weak ass men. You're supposed to be leading your household. And if you're the one doing this right here, it's no wonder your household ain't in order. So yeah, we talk about single mothers in this instance, but they also made the nigga too. They didn't just make the nigga woman, they made the nigga man to. And as a man of the Lord, you're supposed to be breaking these persons, not assisting the devil in committing what he wants. Read this out.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 32, verse 17. A simple man. A simple man.
And ain't nobody acting like nobody perfect. But I know this. You ain't seeing it. If you make it, even to tell you what a simple man do. And we got the Sabbath today. But the
a sinful man do? What he do? Will not be reproved, but find it an excuse. Find it an excuse. Find it an excuse.
Every single time you turn around. Every single time you turn around when it's time to do the Lord's work, it's an excuse. You ain't lying to me. I don't care. You lied to the Most High. But what do you do?
Find it an excuse according to his will. His will.
Now go to Matthew. Go to Matthew. Go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 37.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 37. It's the book of
You
Matthew,
just read Bible.
chapter 10 and verse 32. 37. Wow, man. Slow me down. He that loveth father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son and daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
This Bible. This is what Christ said. How can you love the creature more than the creator? How can you love the creature more than the creator? But then you're going to sit up here with your mouth and your lips and you out of him. You're going to put your friends on. And you're going to say, hallelujah, I love the Lord. But your heart is far removed from him. Read on.
Verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and falleth after me is not worthy of me.
Read on. And then look, I'm talking to people who made vows. Vows about doing the Lord's work. Read.
He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life shall for my sake shall find it. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
Read on.
He that receiveth a prophet in the name of the prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of the righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give a drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
So how can you do all these things if you're not present? Oh, yeah, you know, you have a long future. Man, but we have the holy convocation. But see, we talk about single mothers, but the father has to lead the way. The father has to be a man of the Lord. We talk about single mothers, and we talk about mothers who do these things when the father is present. But if the father is present, that means the father is weak. That's what I mean. So you just as much of a problem as the mother who's making her son a son husband. If you're present. And even if you're not present, you need to be present. But see, we got a microcosm of Israel every single week that I turn around. I see why we don't have a nation. I see it every single time I turn around. Somebody's they in the truth. They love the Lord. They hate on somebody. They can't keep their mouth off somebody. You know what I'm saying? They love the Lord, but they can't seem to be consistent enough to do the work of the Lord. And they got 500 fortune companies that they got to run. We talk about the people that's out on the streets that say they going to work on a Saturday with no lunch bag and no lunch badge, but you just as bad because you know who you are. Give me Romans 7:1.
Preach that, right?
Yeah.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 3. But Peter said, Ananias, why hath Satan filled thine heart? Listen up, Israel. Fill thy heart to lie to the Holy goats and to keep back part of the price of the land. You don't lie to Peter. You don't lie to deacon. You don't lie to elder. You lie to the Holy Spirit. That's one plain.
You ain't lying to me. We do in the will of the Father. He just doing what he just proving the scriptures right. Whenever it's Sabbath, or every time it's time to go to camp, it's an excuse. The brothers can't come today. I'm on my way and don't show up. You ain't lying to me. You just making yourself look like a damn fool. Because you say you ain't the truth and you a liar. The most high margin you liars.
And plus, everybody who read this story already know what the end results was. See, the men standing outside the door, waiting to come in and take you and bury you. Because when you lie to the Holy Ghost, you dead. You dying.
No, well, I'm putting no frames on.
Might as well not.
Let's go to Sirach, chapter 30, and verse 1. We're going to round this thing out.
Sirach 30.
Because the father has to be here to train that son. If the father wants him to get on track to do what he's supposed to do, how the son don't be able to do what he's supposed to do. If the father not learning, as if we know everything we're supposed to know in our heritage to pass on to our children, how can the son know? The father's son gonna be just like the father.
Mm-hmm.
Read that out. This is how we should be training our children out according to the scriptures. Our sons up.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him to ought to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances. He that teacheth his son giveth the enemy. Now grieveth the enemy, shall I? And before his friends, he shall rejoice of him.
The man need to be here to chasten his son. See how many times we see the father go discipline his son? No, you're being too hard on him. You're being too hard on him. The world gonna be hard on him. But they want to get in the middle. And if they're my son, this is his father. What you think you're gonna do to him? That's a seed. We got fathers out here that's so weak that they just want to put their hands on their son for no reason. And these fathers out here who really try to raise their sons up. And I done seen it also where mothers get in the way of that. You messing them up. The scriptures say that a father, if he love him, calls his son off the field of rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. So if he's doing something he ain't got no business doing, you supposed to chasten. And he that chastens his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teaches his son grieveth the enemy. See, that's the part right there about the sound sleep. See, the man can't teach his son. They can have sound sleep. But if he there to teach his son, it's going to grieve the enemy.
They're phenomenal.
Exactly.
Good
All those
place.
men that the Lord took away, those mighty men, those judges, those prophets, that was because we went against him.
Yeah.
And then they can slide this in. But when we come back to doing the will of the Father, it's going to grieve the enemy. That's why the Israelites grieve the enemy. Because they know we teaching them. This phenomenon is occurring. That's in this book too. They know that grieves the enemy. Christianity don't grieve the enemy.
Sure don't.
They know you got that mark of the beast on you with that cross around your neck. Oh, it don't grieve. Oh, we got him.
Yeah.
He loved everybody. You cannot have a cross around your neck and not love everybody, supposedly. Even when they beat your head in with the billy club, you still love everybody. Even when they hung your grandfather, you still love everybody. Even when they raped your grandmama, you still loving everybody. You a fool, man. That's foolishness.
Very foolish.
The KKK wear crosses too. The Pope wear The Pope wear crosses. He's a pedophile and a murderer and a thief and a liar. And you want to have acquaintance with that? Our people foolish.
Bring that devil out.
Read on up.
And before his friends, he shall rejoice of him. Boy, you what that boy said? Yeah, man, I told that. Though his father died, yet he is as though he were not
You were
dead.
supposed to be an image of your father. They didn't want to keep no Israelite line going. We got to destroy that. We got to mix some good
That's
white
good.
blood in here
That's good.
so we can have some ass backwards, long-headed niggas.
What do I
I think that was the meaning. But they said it was a variation of colors and ass backwards niggas. Read on.
For he had left one behind him that is like himself.
That is what?
That is like himself.
So if the father a warrior, his son will be a warrior. But if mama getting away, boy, he shouldn't be out here doing all this.
Yeah.
You trying to stop him from being a warrior.
But then they come say, well, he's got to go serve on the front line.
Oh, yeah. Oh, then it's okay. Oh, he goes serve in the U.S. Army, the Marines or the Navy. She proud for him to put his life on the line for the devil. That is backwards, man.
Ass back.
But go fight for your people. I'm finna knock you upside your head. And I bet you that same mama, they called her a hero mama, would be proud of her son if he go to the United States military. So she can hang his little picture up. And I'm telling you, the military racist. Racist. And they got gang banging in the military too. And they got rape in the military too. And your son might end up dying before he even go to battle, dealing with the Edomites up in there, man.
Yeah. Like that Edomite, she was raping and taking the clothes all off of the Iraqis in the cages and stuff over where they had them in the cages at. I mean, these people are some sick individuals.
But no, don't serve them. It's okay.
No, it's okay to serve them.
Read on.
Verse 5. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger.
Hey, what?
An avenger.
Hey, what?
An avenger.
Hey, who?
An avenger.
An avenger. It's what you leave behind when you raise a son in the way that he's supposed to go.
A Superman.
You raise somebody that's going to defend your family name
That's right.
and honor. It's like you never left. So if we was kings then, we would be raising kings now. And that's what they didn't want to happen. So they need to assert authority with the woman over us. Because we don't need this man's son coming back. That's true stuff. You mess around, let that boy live, he get 20, 21, he coming to avenge his father. Just like anybody should. Read on.
He left behind him an avenger against his enemies.
Against who?
His enemies.
Huh. The mama take him to church, teach him Christianity, and he think everybody they free.
Learn how to preach.
Read on.
And one that shall require kindness to his friends. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
You make too much of them. These people who up sitting there acting like they child all this and all that. No, let them just grow up. Don't be sitting up here calling the baby wisdom. The baby grow up ain't got no wisdom. This a baby. This a child. Grow the child up. Then you get to be proud of them. You know what I'm saying? As they growing up, they making you proud. But we got people who up here putting their child up like they all that, and their child ain't did nothing.
Ain't did nothing.
Read on.
Verse 8. And hearts not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful.
I'm telling you, I don't want to know my child true personality. Give me the father child. and the mother's child, like you're supposed to be. And when you go out in the world, give them everything you got. Let them have it. But a good child gonna give their parents exactly what they raised. Then when they go out in the world, they gonna give them hate. Because you raised a little Avenger that's just like you. But the child respectful enough to hold in that part of you that they got in them, they gonna hold that in and keep that hidden from you. Like a good child, when they go out there, they're gonna be just like you.
That's the reason why they say a teacher and a preacher kid end up being the worstest kids on the planet. Hello. My wife was a teacher, and I was a preacher. So I ain't gonna sit up here and hold that testimony. I got to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's true. That's true saying. It's already in the Bible. All right, verse number 9.
Yes.
Conquer the child.
Conquer means to spoil.
Yeah. And he shall make thee afraid. Play
What them kids, what the white kids do? F you, mom. I hate you, dad. Yeah, they conquer the child. They spoil the child.
Yeah.
You read on? That's that entitlement.
Some of these wicked Israelites
They do it
do the same way.
Yep.
Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
That's why he said, I don't play with kids. I don't play around with kids. Kids will stay in the kids' play. But it's true. Look how many of you kids talk to Steph. You re-roll our apartments, say one thing to them little kids, he probably about 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. They got some stuff to say back.
Yeah.
They ready for that
Yeah.
against an adult.
What you want to do, brother?
It ain't supposed to be like that.
It might pull something out the pants on you.
Wouldn't put it past you. Read on.
Verse 10, laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies.
It's like when the kids be little, they be cussing. And,
what he said.
or he go put on his mama's shoes, high heels, and you just winking at it. It's just funny. It ain't funny.
Really ain't.
If they doing something they not supposed to be doing as an adult, you supposed to stop it. Cause you ain't finna, it ain't gonna be funny when they're adult doing it.
Right.
You ain't supposed to be sitting up here, everything they say funny, everything they do funny. No, then where they gonna learn the boundaries at? They won't have no boundaries with nobody, with no adults, nobody, no authority. Read on.
Bow down.
No, and to give not liberty.
Yeah.
Like these people,
Don't give
I'm
them
gonna
no
go
freedom.
drop my kid off at the mall. I'm gonna drop him off at this party. I'm gonna drop him off. I ain't dropping you off nowhere. You ain't spending the night nowhere unless we did an FBI background check and talk to the parents, and we know for sure this situation straight. And then you ain't just gonna be going all the time. This day and age, like I seen the school let out. Remember when kids used to walk home from school?
Mm-hmm.
Elementary?
Mm-hmm.
Man, the line to pick up kids is 3 miles. Because ain't nobody trusting letting their kids walk down the street no more. That's how bad this situation is. So I'm gonna be cool with you just dropping you off anywhere. The parents that do that, that's because they want to go do their own.
And Issachar, they'll put the neighborhood on lockdown. You can't get nowhere through there, so many cars. They're pick up their kids.
Because ain't nobody trying to let their kids walk.
Right.
You can't let no little sisters walk no more. These people snatching girls up.
Yeah.
You can't let the boys walk no more. Ain't no telling with the police how they act. I don't see kids from middle school and high school walking. But I remember in elementary, we used to walk home like it wasn't nothing.
I walked over 2 miles home and it
In
was
the
safe.
snow?
Yeah, no.
During the hurricane?
Well, yeah, in the snow too. I ain't gonna lie.
During the hurricane.
Not during the hurricane. We ain't have a hurricane. We ain't have a tornado now. We might have a tornado.
I walked 15 miles.
No, I ain't got to tell all those jokes.
Read and finish that out.
All right. Verse 12. Bow down his neck while he is young and beat him on the side.
Where?
On the side.
Where?
On the side.
If he do something, then that's what you're supposed to do. Read on.
While he is a child.
Why ain't what?
While he is
No,
a
when he
child.
grown.
When he is a child.
No, when he's 21.
When he is a child.
No, I'm trying to save him.
Wow, he is a child.
While he's a child, this when you do this. Because if you do it as a child, you're going to have to do it as an adult.
That's right.
This is what the scripture, this Bible. I can't take my 21-year-old son and then try to whoop him like it's going to do something. It's a man.
Right. Right.
What if he catch that belt? Hold up, Pops.
And you do that again, we might have to go there and go to fist cups. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, they ain't going for that nowadays. Shoot.
You should not be going for that nowadays because it's a new. At 2021, you can just tell somebody go on about their business. They not a child. As a child,
Yeah.
now, he ain't got. If you do it right as a child, you don't even have to whoop them as a teenager.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But people don't do it right. They want to think stuff funny when they're kids. Then when they grow into teenagers, they little monsters, and then you don't know what to do with them. Now you ready to fight them like a grown person off the streets.
Come. Because they get very disrespectful.
Yeah, read.
All right. While he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee.
Then if he being disobedient unto thee, not just because he a grown man and ain't responding how you want him to respond. If you don't like it, then do the responsible adult thing to do. But laying hands on one another, that ain't gonna resolve nothing.
It ain't gonna resolve nothing. That's right.
Read on.
And so bring sorrow to thine heart. Chasten thy son and hold him to labor.
Do what?
Hold him to labor.
Say, boy, get out there and cut that grass.
Take that trash out.
Go wash some dishes. Hey, you got parents who don't make their kids do nothing.
Point
And
blank.
then wonder why they sorry. You don't let them cut the grass?
Look, Willie Lynch is so effective to where they'll tell the girls to take out the trash and go cut the yards instead of telling the boys.
I see Mexican girls cutting grass.
Exactly. But they ain't gonna have their little baby, their little fat, little chubby baby out there. What's his name? What they call him, fat boy in Spanish? Eduardo. Gordo. Yeah, Gordo. Like, God, you ain't going out there to cut no grass, no. That's my baby.
But he's gonna be doing it when he grows.
That's cutting grass and cutting something else.
So you gotta be finished that?
Just thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee.
And it's like the ones that need the whooping, they don't whoop them. And the ones that ain't doing nothing wrong, that's who they want to do wrong. This place is backwards.
I can't get some credit where credit due, and because I don't give the Edomites too much credit. Now, I don't give them too much credit.
You're going too far now.
But listen, my son, we had just bought him a car, and he out there racing and everything. He lost control of it and tore all the front end off Monday, right? And I was kind of I had got injured on my job, and I couldn't catch him. So the police was out there because somebody called the police that I was out there whooping my son. He took off running. So the police said he did what? This Edomite. Police said he did what? He said, "Come here, boy." His Josh took out running. That police, when the cop Josh brought Josh back over there, and I tore his butt up again in front of the police. You know what I'm saying? So that's one out of probably a trillion. Because you know what I'm saying? The rest of them, they got something for the daddy on that one. You know what I'm saying?
All the snakes ain't poison.
All the snakes ain't poison. Not all of them, but I'm sure ain't gonna finna try to, you know what I'm saying? But he deliberately went and caught him for me.
He old school.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah. Brought him back.
These new ones telling the car police. Only parent. Let's get these last two scriptures out. Give me Proverbs 23 and 13.
Proverbs 23 and 13.
Start at 12, and then we're going to get Isaiah 5 and 13 to round this thing out, to get a full understanding that all of this is meant to keep us in slavery, in captivity, in hell, because that's what captivity is. And we're going to see it. Read that.
You said 12 and 13?
23 and
23.
and 12. 23 and 12.
23. All right. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 12. Apply thine heart unto instructions, and thine ears to the word of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child. For if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die.
Read on.
Thou shalt beat him with the rod,
And do what?
and shall deliver his soul from hell.
It should do what?
Deliver his soul from Esau.
From where?
From Esau.
No, what the Bible say?
From hell.
From hell, right? Now go to Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 13. If we discipline our children,
Verse 13.
we can deliver their soul from hell. See, I got discipline, and I appreciate it. And I went back and told the people who disciplined me, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because they stopped me from doing certain things that other people would do that I wouldn't do. Now watch this. It's to deliver your soul from hell, which is captivity. And the new captivity is jail. Read this.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge.
No what?
No knowledge.
Now then verse 12 say, apply thine heart unto instruction and thine ears to the word of knowledge. Because if you don't, you can end up in hell, in captivity. So my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge, because the people who's supposed to be teaching that knowledge is the honorable man, the ancient men, the prophets, the pastors, the priests. We supposed to be teaching the knowledge of God to our children. But because we don't, what happens? Read on.
And their honorable men are famished.
And who is famished?
The honorable men.
The men are famished. Read.
And their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself.
What has hell done?
Enlarged herself.
Captivity has enlarged herself, and the new captivity is the penitentiary.
That's right. That's right.
And that's because of no knowledge of self, no mercy in the land. The honorable men are famished. The men are not teaching these boys how to be men anymore because they're getting trained by women. So hell is enlarging herself. Read.
And open her mouth without measure. And their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
Because that pride, man, that pride, that's what pomp is, shall descend into hell because the men ain't teaching these boys how to be men anymore. Because we ain't giving the knowledge. So men need to step up, not being out here faking the funk. We the front line for our people. The same way you're the front line for your household, we the front line for our people. Give me 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. This is the last one.
1 Kings chapter.
Because this is what is holding back. This is coming from a king. So all these men who saying they kings, then you should be following this right here.
Verse 1.
Yes.
This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 1. Now the day of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon, his son.
His who?
His son.
His who?
His son.
Was his mother? Did his mother charge?
His son.
The king, his father,
David.
David charged his son. Great.
Saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
Show yourself what?
A man.
A who?
A man.
Now, how can a woman tell this man to show thyself a man? He finna tell him what he need to do to show himself a man. Read on.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy Yahweh.
To do what?
Keep the charge of the Lord your Yahweh.
Take off when I feel like it.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy Yahweh.
Put other things over the Most High God.
And charge and keep the charge of the Lord thy
That's
Yahweh.
the first thing that he said. Read on.
To walk in his ways.
When the Most High stop doing his work for somebody else,
To walk in his ways.
read.
To keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimony, as it is written in the law of
For
Moses,
what?
that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whatsoever thou turnest thyself.
So all the men of Israel is being men of the Lord and doing what he said, we all should be prospering. But why we not prospering as a nation? Because the men is garbage, man. You might well go work for the city of Dallas and be a garbage man for how much the men is being the men of the Lord around here, man. Brothers hating on each other. Brothers got other stuff that's more important than the Lord. They women, they children, they pride. And then we wonder why we ain't got nothing. You got brothers in the same cities can't even come together because of pride, man. But we men of the Lord, man. This is ridiculous. So I'm just gonna say all praise to the Most High for giving us an understanding. He said, with all thy getting, get understanding, man. So we want to understand part of the reason why we in the situation. First of all, for breaking the law, statutes, commandments, and not coming back and doing them. And then we got Willie Lynch on. This alone should give you enough energy to want to break what the white man has put on our people, not assist him. Not assist him in continuing the Willie Lynch. Because every time you do something that he programmed us to do, you assisted him. The only way you can break this curse is to come back and do the will of the Father, man. So with that, we say all praise to the Most High God, in the name of His Holy Son, Hamashiach Yahushua. Kal Lahal Yahweh Bahashim, Hamashiach Yahushua. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah.